Thank you for that open mic. And we have cut to. Let's play.
This is Mike in Port St. John. My son got a 2023 Toyota Camry 4-cylinder, and it will require 0.16 weight. Obviously, we're going to go to the Amsoil, but, 16 weight, why do they do that?
You can't even imagine the comments I get when I get into this on our YouTube channel. It's worth going in and checking them out. There's so many people that try to give oil advice that has never rebuilt an engine or have done it professionally, and it's hilarious. I love reading this stuff. This is a situation. The car manufacturers are trying their best to squeak every mile that they can out of a gallon of gas. Now, in theory, they think that if they use an extremely thin oil, that it's going to represent less oil pump drag, and therefore you should be able to get better fuel economy at the cost of wearing your engine out. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. This is what happens. We get somebody that's got a vehicle just like yours, and this happens all the time. They bring me in a 2022 or 2023 Toyota, and they bring it in for its first oil change. Now, we know that it's left the factory with 16 weight oil in it. Now, when we raise the hood on these things with the engine running, you hear these things ticking and clicking, and the motors just sound like junk. And then we'll ask the customer, say, well, what kind of mileage are you getting out of this thing? And they might sit there and tell you, well, they're getting about 32 miles a gallon, whatever, out of it. And then we'll go and we break every rule there is. We go and we put the Amsoil 0W30 in these things. We start them up, and you can't hear the engines run. They are smooth as glass. Before, with the 16 weight in it, they're sitting there, they're bouncing all over the place. You can just watch the whole engine just sit there and literally vibrate. Put the Amsoil 0W30 in it, and the motor's as smooth as glass, and it sounds like it sounds like you just replaced the engine. The motor is as quiet as it can be. And you know what? They will take the vehicle and they will drive it, and it's not uncommon. They will call you back up and say their fuel economy increased 6 miles to a gallon. Now, you think about that. You're going from a 16 weight to a 0.30, and your engine runs better, it sounds better, and your fuel economy skyrockets. Now, why would they recommend a 16 weight oil, especially here in Central Florida? If you were in, someplace, Fairbanks, Alaska, or something like that in the wintertime, a thin oil would probably not hurt anything, and it would allow the engine to start a lot faster, and oil's going to pump a lot quicker, especially when you're minus 40. But this is Central Florida. I know a lot of folks are listening, online, and you're from one of these cold climates, and a 20 weight may be okay, a 520 or something like that in your area. But down here, we kill cars because of the heat. That is our primary concern. We got to have an oil that's got enough viscosity to keep parts separated. And the thing is, with the Amsoil, you friction-freed the motor by using a polyalpha olefin oil. And with a 0, that's as cold of a low pour point as you can possibly get. So it doesn't represent any more drag on the oil pump than the 16 weight does. But we are actually able to friction-free the motor and lubricate it to the point where our fuel economy excels. There is no benefit to a 16 weight oil. And you know what? Just like with the Kia and the Hyundai disasters, Toyota's going to wind up taking this one on the chin, and then they'll wind up having an engine replacement party on just about every one that they pour this crap into as well. Mark my word, that's destined to happen. But I can't tell you why you would think that they would have at least experimented and done some trials on some different oils before they go and they just ante up with a 16 weight oil. And a lot of times you'll talk to a mechanic and he goes, well, you know what, Larry, these new cars, their clearances are so tight that we have to run these really thin oils. Well, you know what? The bottom line is I could take a 350 Chevy motor from back in 1965 and plastic gauge every rod and main bearing in it. And you know what? I could take a brand new Toyota and disassemble the 16 weight oil motor, and the clearances are going to plastic gauge out almost identical. You can only have about 1/1000 oil clearance in them, you know, so that you've got, you know, the oil actually separating the parts. You go any tighter than that, when the engine gets hot, they'd swell up and lock the motor up. So engine clearances really haven't changed. When you get some service writer sitting there trying to tell you this crap, just ignore them, because they're out of their mind. They're crazy. They're just telling you to run an oil that's going to take your engine out before you get 100,000 miles on it. You know, so the dealer or the manufacturer isn't always right. Hi folks, Larry Perry here. For automotive information, maybe you got automotive questions on cars, trucks, vans, SUVs. Maybe you're thinking about maybe purchasing a used vehicle, and maybe you just want my opinion. Tune in to the Magic Mechanic radio show every Saturday, 3 to 5 p.m. on wdbo.com. Also tune in to our Magic Mechanic YouTube channel, and don't forget to subscribe. And we'll all get together, maybe fix a few cars while we're at it.